enforcer of things that don't matter, terror of tulips, and now apparently hammocks. Chapter 2. The Accusation. "You can't have that here," Karen barked, arms folded like a disappointed principal. I blinked. "Have what?" She gestured with her clipboard. "That death trap." I looked at the hammock, then back at her. "You mean the hammock? It's a safety hazard. Someone could fall, or get tangled, or, God forbid, children could think it's a toy." I opened my mouth, closed it, opened it again. "It's in my fenced yard, still visible from the sidewalk." She flipped a page. Section 6.4b, unsecured leisure structures not explicitly listed in HOA recreational exemptions may be subject to penalty upon review. I blinked again. That sounds made up. It's not. Yes, it was. Chapter 3. The Warning Letter. The next day I received an official HOA warning. Violation, unsafe recreational apparatus. Fine, $150. Deadline to remove, 72 hours. I stared at the paper. My hammock, a device literally designed for relaxation, was being treated like a meth lab. I looked across the street. Karen was watering her roses with one hand, phone in the other. She waved. I didn't wave back. Chapter 4. Allies assemble, words spread fast. Hammockgate was born. Raoul from next door. She once reported my inflatable pool for standing water. It was deflated. Jasmine across the street. She measured my fairy lights with a ruler at 9 p.m. Tom, our unofficial HOA rebel. She ticketed my mailbox for being too whimsical. Together we plotted. Not revenge, not yet. First documentation. Jasmine brought her camera. Raoul brought lemonade. Tom brought popcorn. And I kept the hammock up. Chapter 5. Karen escalates. Karen started taking photos. From the sidewalk. From behind her bushes. From inside her car. She emailed the board. Twice a day. Subject lines included: urgent, hammock still present, hammock and risk to neighborhood stability. Possible hammock expansion plans? The HOA board ignored her, so she escalated. Chapter 6. Code Enforcement. One morning, a white SUV with Community Safety Patrol written on the side parked outside. Karen stood beside it, arms crossed and smirking. A tired-looking city code guy approached me. "I got a complaint about an illegal hammock." I pointed to it. "That one?" He squinted. "That's not illegal." Karen stormed up. "It's a visual liability." He looked at her. "Ma'am, it's a nap net." She turned red. "It's a menace." The officer wrote something in his notebook. I looked over later. It said, "Resident owns a hammock. Karen is mad." Chapter 7. The Petition Unfazed. Karen launched a petition. Remove all unsafe structures from Willow Creek. She stood outside the coffee shop with a clipboard, harassing strangers. She got 8 signatures. One was a dog paw. When the local paper interviewed her, she said, "I fight for order. Today it's a hammock. Tomorrow, a trampoline of chaos." Autor, the article's title, Woman Declares War on Backyard Relaxation. Chapter 8. The HOA board responds. At the monthly HOA meeting, the board had enough. Diane, the president, read aloud. "We find no violation regarding the hammock. We encourage all residents to enjoy their yards peacefully, within reason." Karen's eye twitched. She stood, knocking over her reusable water bottle. "I will not rest until safety is restored." Someone in the back whispered, "Maybe she should try the hammock." Chapter 9. Karma's Entrance. The next morning it rained. Hard. The sun came out around noon, and Karen decided to prune her hedges in full glory. Floral sun hat, silk scarf, flowy linen dress. She marched toward her yard, spotted me in my hammock, and turned dramatically. "I hope you're insured." Then she stepped on her own garden stone. Her heel slipped. Her dress caught on her watering hose. She spun and fell, face first, into her own mulch. Chapter 10. The World Reacts. The Ring camera footage was glorious. Jasmine uploaded it with the caption, HOA Karen versus Gravity. It went viral. Local news picked it up. Headline, HOA leader trips over her own rules. Karen claimed she was sabotaged by uneven terrain. Tom said, "Nah, that's karma." The HOA board released a statement. "Please watch your step and maybe sit down, preferably in a hammock." Chapter 11, The Aftermath. Karen didn't show her face for 3 days. Unheard of. Usually she was up at 7 a.m. sharp, patrolling the block like a suburban hawk, clipboard in hand, judging everything from mailbox angles to hose coiling technique. But now, silence. Well, except for the whispers. "Did you hear? She fell right into her peonies. My cousin in Chicago saw the video. I heard she sued her own hydrangea." Even the HOA group chat, usually full of lawn care memes, had gone full meme war mode. Chapter 12, The Get Well Soon card. Tom started a joke petition, "Bring back the hammock inspector." It got 73 signatures. Jasmine organized a group card for Karen. Inside it said, "We hope you bounce back faster than trampoline bylaws." I drew a tiny hammock in the corner. Karen didn't reply, but the card disappeared from her doorstep. Small victories. Chapter 13, The Return of the Clipboard. On day 4, the porch light flicked on. Day 5, the roses were trimmed. Not too much, just enough to say, "I still control beauty." And on day 6, she reemerged. Karen stepped onto her lawn in full power mode. Flowy pantsuit to avoid trip risk. A fresh clipboard, silver this time, and sunglasses. She didn't say a word. She just looked at my hammock, nodded once, then shuffled her papers. Peace treaty? Maybe. Chapter 14, Suspicious Kindness. Then came the casserole, left at my door in a glass dish, note attached. "For recovery and reflection, K." Amanda laughed. "It's either poisoned or cursed." Tom poked it with a spoon. "Or it's just tuna." I kept it in the fridge. I never ate it. But I didn't throw it away either. Chapter 15. A new obsession with the hammock case. Unofficially closed, Karen needed a new focus. She found it. Garden gnomes. Specifically Raoul's. A set of 5, each with painted sombreros and tiny maracas. She filed a complaint. "Statues may promote cultural caricature and disrupt lawn aesthetics." The board responded, "Gnomes are not covered by the bylaws. Also, they're adorable." Karen was defeated, temporarily. She began attending HOA meetings with PowerPoint slides titled, "Visual Noise, the Silent Killer of Property Values." Tom snored through one. Chapter 16. The Great Lawn Light Debate. One night, Jamie installed solar-powered lights along her walkway. Soft, warm glow. Nothing flashy. Karen called an emergency HOA board, Zoom. "I saw blue." Jasmine, "Maybe it was the moon." Karen, "The moon isn't programmable." Amanda coughed. "Are you?" Silence. Karen left the meeting due to connection issues. We all saw her slam her laptop. Chapter 17, The Truce, sort of. Weeks passed. The hammock stayed. Karen stopped talking about it. We didn't become friends, but we entered a fragile peace zone. One morning I was in my hammock when she walked by. She didn't stop, but she did say, "Looks stable." That, in Karen's speak, was practically a love letter. Chapter 18, The HOA Newsletter Twist. Then came the June edition of the Willow Watcher, our monthly HOA newsletter. Headline, Karen's Corner, Finding Balance Without Falling. She wrote about growth, about lawns, about how some things don't need to be controlled to be appreciated. I nearly choked on my iced coffee. Was this character development? Amanda cried reading it. Tom whispered, "She's been body snatched." Chapter 19, National Recognition, seriously. Someone submitted the hammock story to a neighborhood blog. It got picked up, then reposted on a lifestyle site, How a Hammock Healed a Suburb. Then a morning news show called. They wanted to interview the woman who fell into flowers and found grace. Karen declined, but she did allow one quote. "Sometimes you fall because the world needs you to see from ground level." People lost their minds. Chapter 20, End of the Beginning. The sun was setting. I swung gently in my hammock. Max curled at my feet, lemonade sweating in my hand. Karen watered her roses. She didn't look at me, but she called out, "I trimmed that hedge by the mailbox. It was growing rogue." "Thanks," I said. Then I paused. "Looks great." She nodded. It wasn't friendship. It wasn't forgiveness. But it was something real. And it all began because of a hammock. Chapter 21. Karen goes to a retreat. One Thursday morning, Karen posted in the neighborhood app, "Gone to a mindfulness retreat. Be kind to your lawns while I'm away." And just like that, she was gone. No clipboard, no complaints, no measuring tape, just silence. The block celebrated. Tom grilled. Jasmine hosted an impromptu gnome parade. I even added a second hammock, just because I could. Chapter 22. Peace and Paranoia. But peace brings questions. Raul whispered, "Is she spying from a drone now?" Amanda said, "Or she's charging for a comeback." I kept swinging in my hammock. Max barked once at a bush. We all stared at it for 10 minutes. It was just a squirrel. Probably. Chapter 23. The Return of Zen Karen. After 10 days, Karen came back. But something was different. She smiled. Genuinely. She wore flowing linen. She gave away succulents. She even complimented Jasmine's wind chimes. "Lovely tones," she said. "Very centering." We were stunned. Amanda whispered, "She's either been abducted or replaced." Tom replied, "I'm cautiously optimistic." I was confused. Chapter 24. Karen's New Obsession. Crystals. Next HOA meeting, Karen brought crystals. "I'd like to introduce a new segment," she said. "The vibration report." She held up a smoky quartz. "This one told me the gnome issue isn't worth the energy." Tom coughed up his drink. Diane blinked slowly. "Are we voting on this?" Karen smiled. "No, we're feeling it." Chapter 25. Suspicious Peace. For a month, Karen was chill. She launched a campaign called "Let It Grow, a Natural Lawn Movement." She stopped filing reports. She started hosting backyard yoga. At one point, she even asked Amanda, "Do you think windsocks are too underappreciated?" Amanda just stared, then texted me, "Something's coming. I feel it." Chapter 26. The Lawn Showdown. Then one fateful Tuesday, it happened. A new resident moved in. Calvin, nice guy, quiet, loved plants. And then he installed artificial turf, bright green, neon green. Karen saw it, froze, breathed deeply, then whispered, "That grass has no soul." Chapter 27. The Fall of the Inner Peace. Karen tried. She meditated near the turf. She placed healing stones along the property line. She wrote in a gratitude journal. But one morning she snapped. She walked over and left a note. "Dear Calvin, your lawn looks like a pool table in a midlife crisis." Calvin posted it online. The internet erupted. Chapter 28. The Great Grass Debate. At the next HOA meeting, the topic, fake grass versus real roots. Karen stood. "It's unnatural. It doesn't breathe." Tom shrugged. "Neither do patio tiles." Calvin raised his hand. "It's drought-friendly." Amanda whispered, "Here we go." Karen clenched her rose quartz and said, "It looks like someone laminated envy." Chapter 29. The Compromise. After much debate, Diane proposed a truce. Calvin adds 2 planters of live greenery. Karen stops calling the turf synthetic shame. Karen agreed, reluctantly, but she added, "The gnomes are watching." Calvin nodded. "Then I'll name one after you." Karen smirked. "That's the strangest peace offering I've ever received." Chapter 30. Back to the hammock. That evening I lay in my hammock. One flag waved softly. Max snored. Wind chimes danced gently. Karen passed by. She paused. "You know," she said, "I still think hammocks are structurally questionable." I smiled. "And yet here we are." She nodded. Then added, "I brought brownies with chakra-safe chocolate." I took one. Progress. Chapter 31. Karen's Vision. One crisp Saturday morning, Karen gathered the block. She stood before a whiteboard labeled Project Serenity Garden, a place for harmony, herbal tea, and HOA healing. She wore linen again. Her clipboard was back, but now decorated with vines and motivational stickers. This, she said dramatically, is how we move forward. Amanda raised an eyebrow. You mean together? Karen paused. Kate more at least in the same general direction. Chapter 32. The plan unfolds. Karen's vision included a meditation circle with non-toxic mulch, a labyrinth budget version made of painted bricks, weekly guided affirmations over Bluetooth speakers, and of course, a sign that read, "Please remove shoes and judgments." Tom offered to build benches. Jasmine offered herbs. I stayed quiet. Max was suspicious. Chapter 33. The first disagreement trouble started with the statue. Karen ordered a large ceramic sculpture of a woman holding a globe. Her name is Tranquilina, Karen said. Tom squinted. Why does she look like she's judging me? She reflects your inner state, Karen replied. Amanda muttered, mine must be sarcastic. Neighbors were concerned. She's spooky at night, Jamie said. She's watching my mailbox, Raoul added. Karen installed solar spotlights to highlight her better. This did not help. Chapter 34. The Zen Fence Battle. To protect the energy, Karen installed a small bamboo fence around the garden space. HOA Bylaw 8.2.1 said, no unapproved structures may be installed in communal greens. Karen claimed it was a temporary spiritual perimeter. Diane, HOA president, groaned. We are not arguing over mystical fencing. Karen stood her ground. Tom posted a meme, thou shalt not pass unless your aura is aligned. Chapter 35. Hammock revisited. Amid the garden madness, Karen visited me. I was, of course, in the hammock. She stared at it like it was an old frenemy. You know, she began, if we placed it between two flowering cherry trees. No. I mean, as part of the Serenity design. No, she sighed. Fine, but the hammock does match the mulch. Small victories. Chapter 36. The Grounding Stone Incident. One afternoon, Karen placed a massive quartz in the center of the garden. Don't touch her, she warned. She's sensitive. Hours later, a loud crash echoed across the block. Max had peed on it, and then the rock cracked. Karen screamed like a banshee. You disrupted the frequency. Max blinked. Unapologetic. I apologized profusely. Offered brownies. Karen accepted them, then made Max wear a chakra realignment collar for 3 days. Chapter 37. The HOA vote. Tensions grew. Amanda submitted a formal proposal. Either Karen removes Tranquilina and the rock, or everyone gets to add one weird thing to the garden. Tom brought a lawn flamingo army as leverage. Raoul threatened to install mariachi gnomes. A vote was held. Results, 11 for freedom of expression, 3 for HOA neutrality. 1 abstained, Karen. Compromise reached. Garden shall contain 1 Karen-selected statue, 1 flamingo, and 1 rotating weird object every month. Chapter 38. The Whisper Circle. Karen initiated a weekly Whisper Circle. Residents sat in the garden, passed a stick, and shared HOA frustrations softly. It worked. Until Diane whispered, Karen, sometimes you're a lot. Karen dropped the stick. Silence. Then laughter. Karen nodded. That's fair. Breakthrough. Chapter 39. Karen's Realization. One evening, Karen wandered into my backyard, unannounced as always. Max growled half-heartedly. Karen sat beside the hammock. I spent years fighting, she said. Lawn height, fence color, decorative windsocks. And now? She looked up at the stars. I still want order, but not at the cost of joy. I handed her a cup of chamomile tea. Then maybe you're finally becoming post-HOA. She gasped. Don't say such heresy. Chapter 40. A Garden of Mayhem and Meaning. By month's end, the Serenity Garden was complete. A bit crooked, slightly chaotic, definitely weird, but it worked. Kids played, adults meditated. Max buried 2 chew toys under Tranquilina's gaze. Karen smiled, not a power smile. a real one, and just above the entrance hung a new sign: peace, plants, and petty forgiveness. It felt right. Chapter 41. A new challenger appears. Everything had been weirdly calm since the Serenity Garden's completion. Too calm. Then she arrived. Linda, president of the HOA in the neighborhood across the main road. Maple Loop Estates, power suit, sharp heels, an air of, I wrote the HOA manual and laminated it. Karen met her during a tri-neighborhood beautification lunch. By dessert, tension filled the air. I prefer regulation boxwoods, Linda said coolly. Karen sipped her tea. We encourage expression, with boundaries. The war began. Chapter 42, Declaration of Turf. Karen posted a notice on the Willow Creek board. In response to neighboring HOA aggression, we will be doubling down on controlled individuality and intentional weirdness. Linda responded with flyers. Dear residents of Willow Creek, disorder breeds depreciation. Kindly prune accordingly. MLE HOA, Amanda cackled. Tom created a meme. Battle of the Bylaws, Rise of the Regulators. Chapter 43. Flamingo Diplomacy. Tom placed 6 pink flamingos along the Willow Creek Maple Loop border. Each held a sign, This lawn welcomes whimsy. Plants over paranoia. Free-range flags live here. Mo love, not rules. In Hammock, we trust. Smile, it confuses your HOA. Maple Loop responded by placing a hedge. Karen responded by adding googly eyes to the hedge. Linda filed a noise complaint over lawn art. Chapter 44. The Public Forum. A town forum was held, chaired by Diane, HOA president and part-time peacekeeper. Karen wore lavender linen. Linda wore HOA navy. Tom wore a shirt that said, Lawn Lives Matter. Linda opened with, We believe in clarity, consistency, and carbon-neutral driveways. Karen responded, We believe in joy, gnomes, and non-judgmental shrubbery. The crowd broke into spontaneous applause. Chapter 45. Hammock Sabotage. One night, someone cut one of my hammock ropes. No theft, just one clean slice. Max barked at 2:14 a.m., but I thought it was a squirrel. In the morning, I found it swinging, lopsided, heartbroken. Karen saw it, jaw clenched. I know turf warfare when I see it. Tom installed motion lights. Jasmine set up a trail cam. Amanda left out glitter bombs. Chapter 46. The Footage. 3 nights later, the camera caught someone. Not Linda. Linda's assistant, a man named Brian, clipboard in one hand, pruning shears in the other. Caught mid-snip, wearing a Maple Loop sweatshirt. The footage was uploaded with the caption, Hammock Hater Strikes Again. Thousands of views. Hashtag #ChaChat Hammock Justice trended locally. Chapter 47. The Showdown. Karen stormed across to Maple Loop. She carried the video, laminated and printed. You violated a boundary, both literal and spiritual, she told Linda. Linda shrugged. Your structures encroach. Karen inhaled. We're not structures, we're a movement. And then she did the unthinkable. Invited Linda to try the hammock. Gasps. Linda looked at it like it might bite her. Then she sat, wobbled, relaxed. Okay, she whispered. This is tolerable. Karen grinned. Victory. Chapter 48, Peace Treaty, sort of. The 2 HOAs agreed on new terms. Monthly expression zones along the border. Joint gardening club, Karen would monitor. Flamingos capped at 10 per yard. No cross HOA sabotage, written clause. Tom suggested a new holiday. Karen versus Karen Day. Jasmine made t-shirts. Chapter 49, Restoration. I repaired the hammock. Karen supervised. Double knot, she instructed. Karen, I said, it's not a parachute. She handed me a crystal. Just in case. Amanda brought snacks. Tom brought paint. We added small painted stones to the hammock posts, each with a word, balance. Shetetun rebellion, anhap. It felt complete. Again. Chapter 50, still swinging. Weeks passed, peace held, mostly. Karen still complained about wind direction. Linda still sent newsletters in all caps. But there was laughter. Max got a hammock of his own, small, camo, low to the ground. And every time I laid back, the breeze swaying, flags fluttering, I remembered. It all started with a Karen and a swing. Chapter 51. The campaign begins. Fall came to Willow Creek. Leaves turned gold. Lawns softened. And Karen ran for office. City Council District 4. Her slogan, restore order, renew pride. Tom choked on his coffee. Amanda gasped. I just stared at the flyer in disbelief. She's taking the HOA to the city, Jasmine whispered. Max howled, ominously. Chapter 52. The announcement event. Karen hosted her announcement on the community green. She wore a structured beige blazer and a smile too wide for her face. We've proven what a neighborhood can be. Imagine what we can do for the city. She pointed vaguely toward downtown. The crowd clapped politely, until someone shouted from the back, "Do you still hate hammocks?" She paused. "I've evolved." Awkward silence. Chapter 53. The interview. Karen was invited onto a local podcast, Suburban Voices. Host, your leadership's been eventful. Karen, I've grown. Once I viewed flags and hammocks as chaos. Now I see them as controlled expressions of freedom. Host, controlled? Karen blinked. Tempered, with guidelines. Host, so, still kind of against them. Karen smiled. Not if they're level. Chapter 54. The opposition emerges. Karen's opponent was a local high school teacher named Devin Lee. Friendly, funny, very into community gardens and youth programs. His campaign slogan, let people be weird, let them swing. He included an image of, yes, a hammock. Karen turned red when she saw it. Tom printed posters. Amanda hung one on my mailbox. Karen issued a cease and desist. It was ignored. Chapter 55. The debate. At the city debate, Karen opened with, we need clean streets, straight lines, and strong standards. Devin replied, we need kindness, creativity, and a little less paperwork. Then came the moderator's question. What do you say to the critics who call you the hammock hater? Karen inhaled. I never hated hammocks. I feared what they represented. Gasps. Amanda whispered, is she going for a redemption arc? Karen continued, but I've changed. I even built a serenity garden. Tom shouted, with Tranquilina, the judging statue. Everyone laughed. Chapter 56. The campaign ad. Karen released a campaign ad titled, Order is Love. It showed her trimming roses, nodding at traffic signs, meditating under a wind chime, very staged. The closing shot, her walking past my house. The hammock was blurred, Twitter noticed. Hashtag, Shasher Justice for the Hammock. Karen issued a statement. The blur was unintentional, but tasteful. Chapter 57. The viral compilation. Someone, likely Tom, released a YouTube video. HOA Karen, from chaos to council. Clips included the fall into her own mulch, her casserole letters, the whisper circle, and finally, her face when she saw the second hammock. The video ended with, do we want this energy in City Hall? 1.2 million views. Chapter 58. The Karen Town Hall. Karen hosted a Truth and Tea event to repair her image. Free herbal tea, calm music, a healing tent. Turnout was decent, until a kid asked, did you really ban a hammock? Karen smiled tightly. I encourage community safety. The kid blinked, then asked, so, yes? Karen sipped her tea. Chapter 59. Election Day Signs Everywhere. Karen, keep it clean. To Devin, let it swing. Vote Max, bark for change. Tom's idea. The polls were packed. Karen wore a scarf patterned with leaves and the HOA logo. Devin wore a hoodie and brought donuts. Chapter 60. The results. At 9:02 p.m., the results came in. Devin, 53%. Karen, 45%. Max write-ins, 2%. Karen stared at the screen. Amanda patted her back. You got beat by a guy with a hammock. and a dog. Karen nodded, then said softly, I wonder if there's a place for both order and chaos. Tom replied, there is. It's your backyard. Karen almost smiled. Almost. Chapter 61. Karen Unplugged. After the election loss, Karen disappeared. Not literally. She still trimmed her hedges, but no more clipboard, no more comments on mailbox fonts, no passive-aggressive herbal gifts. She was quiet. Amanda called it the silence of the Karens. Chapter 62. The Panic Room. One day Tom saw Karen staring blankly at a squirrel in her front yard. The squirrel ran. Karen didn't blink. She's in HOA limbo, Tom whispered. I nodded. She's between bylaw and being. We left her a gift basket. Inside, a coloring book titled, Let That Fence Go, a mini flag that said chill, a tiny hammock-shaped stress ball. She didn't return it. Progress. Chapter 63. The Community Proposal. At the next HOA meeting, Jasmine presented a new idea. A public relaxation zone, a grassy lot, 2 trees, and a permanent hammock. Tom cheered. Amanda slow-clapped. Max barked in support. Diane asked, do we dare? We voted. It passed. Karen wasn't there. Chapter 64. The Return of Resistance. The next morning, a letter appeared in my mailbox, handwritten, scented, familiar ink. Dear neighbors, a communal hammock is a lovely idea until it becomes a communal liability. Kindly reconsider. Sincerely, a friend of stability. No signature, Amanda cackled. Karen's ghostwriting now. Chapter 65. The Build Begins. Despite the note, the community built the hammock zone. Tom and I dug holes. Jasmine brought turf lights. Even the kids helped paint the sign, Swing Zone, where no clipboard shall rule. We hung the hammock. Wide, sturdy, beautiful. And then, Karen showed up. Chapter 66. The Storm. It was a Saturday afternoon. Sky darkened. Winds howled. Karen marched into the swing zone in a waterproof cape. She pointed at the hammock. This isn't safe. Then lightning cracked. She slipped. Not on mulch this time, but on a patch of slick grass. And she fell. Not dramatically, just gently into the hammock. Chapter 67. A Pause in Midair. Everyone froze. Karen lay in the hammock, blinking at the sky. The wind rocked her gently. A neighbor gasped. Karen laughed. Not maniacally, just a small human chuckle. It's kind of comfortable, she said. We exhaled. Chapter 68. Hammock Truce 2.0. After that, Karen didn't fight the hammock. In fact, she redesigned the signage. Use with intention, rock with respect. Max approved. Amanda brought mocktails. We all sat on picnic blankets. Even Karen. She wore linen again. It was weirdly nice. Chapter 69. A Visit from the HOA Board of Boards. Then came the letter. From the County Federation of Homeowner Associations. They wanted to observe our unique relaxation integration model. Basically, Karen got famous again. She panicked. What if they revoke our charter? What if they hate the gnome? Tom said, then we give them kombucha and point to the squirrel. Karen muttered, we need a strategy. I said, or maybe you just be honest. She blinked. Chapter 70. The New Karen. The board arrived in beige suits, clipboards raised. Karen stood before them in a peaceful green shawl. She said, I once feared flags. I feared chaos. I feared hammocks. But then I fell. Literally. And the net caught me. That net was this community. Messy, colorful, weird, and strong. There was silence. Then a clap. Then another. And then they asked for a swing. Karen helped them in. Full circle. Chapter 71. The Nomination. Jasmine burst into the HOA office holding an envelope like it contained gold. It happened, she shouted. We stared. Karen's been nominated for the County Community Spirit Award. Karen blinked. Is this a joke? Tom raised a brow. Is it ironic? Jasmine grinned. Nope. Totally real. You're on the short list. Karen sat down. Hard. Chapter 72. The application. Karen took the nomination seriously. Too seriously. She crafted a 12-page document titled From Citation to Celebration, A Personal Evolution. It included her Serenity Garden blueprints on before and after photos of the neighborhood, a section titled Redemption Through Hammocks. Amanda edited it. Tom added emojis. Max drooled on one page. It stayed in. Chapter 73. The Objection. A mysterious letter appeared in the mailbox of the award committee. Anonymous, sharp, critical. It included screenshots from early HOA Karen days, her warning about illegal tulips, the infamous Hammocks Invite Chaos quote, a still from the fall heard round the world. Karen was horrified. Amanda called it the revenge of pre-evolved Karen. Chapter 74. Detective Mode. Karen turned to her old enemies for help. I need to know who sent this, she said to Amanda. Amanda folded her arms. Is this for closure or for revenge? Karen hesitated. Closure, with a side of clipboard justice. They reviewed handwriting, envelope texture, scent traces. Karen swore it smelled like peppermint passive aggression. Suspect list narrowed. Dennis, still bitter about Windsocks. Linda from Maple Loop. Her former self. Karen briefly considered mailing it in her sleep. Chapter 75. The Confrontation. Karen marched to Dennis's house. He opened the door mid-banana. Did you try to sabotage my award? She demanded. Dennis blinked. What award? She narrowed her eyes. If it wasn't you. Wait, he said. Wasn't there a woman at the last HOA cookout with a clipboard charm bracelet? Karen gasped. Linda. Chapter 76. A very Karen face-off. Karen stormed into Maple Loop like it was her turf again. Linda sat by her fountain, sipping cucumber water. You sent the letter, Karen said. Linda didn't flinch. I reminded them of your truth. I've changed. People don't change. They rebrand. Karen exhaled. Then maybe rebranding is how change begins. Linda said nothing. Karen turned. Linda said, your statue still looks judgmental. Karen smiled. She's based on you. Chapter 77. The Decision Day. The award ceremony arrived. Karen wore pastel. Her hair was soft, her tone calm. Devin Lee, the man who defeated her in the city election, was in the crowd. He nodded to her. She nodded back. A moment, then the envelope opened. Winner of the 2025 Community Spirit Award, Willow Creek HOA, accepted by Karen Hollingsworth. Gasps, applause. Max barked. Karen walked up slowly, smiled and said, once upon a time I fell. I blamed gravity, then I blamed others. But eventually I realized, maybe I just needed to sit still, in a hammock. Chapter 78. The After Party. We celebrated at the swing zone. Music, lemonade, lawn games. Someone brought a second hammock. Double wide. Karen tested it. Approved. Amanda toasted, to Karen, the only woman who can fall face first into mulch and rise up to win a county award for community spirit. Laughter. Even Karen laughed. She whispered to me, I still think windsocks are tacky. I replied, you're allowed. Chapter 79. The Legacy Begins. Karen began writing a book. Working title, Hammock Justice, How I Learned to Let Go, but also enforce parking rules. Tom offered illustrations. Amanda offered snarky footnotes. Max offered naps. Karen dedicated it to everyone who ever dared to decorate their lawn without permission and survived. Chapter 80. Tied but free. That evening I retied the hammock knots. Stronger, cleaner, reflective. Karen watched quietly. You're good at knots, she said. You taught me, I said. She smiled. For once, I'm happy not being in control. The wind blew. The flags waved. The hammock rocked gently. Karen sat beside me, not in charge, just present. Max snored. We didn't speak for a while. We didn't need to. Chapter 81. A Cry for Help. It started with a letter, typed, polite, desperate. Dear Willow Creek, our HOA has banned lawn chairs, painted mailboxes, and bird feeders. We heard about your transformation. Please help us. Residents of Cliptown. Karen read it 5 times. Then whispered, "It's time." Amanda blinked. Time for what? Karen stood. Redemption is contagious. Chapter 82. Operation Neighbor Lift. Karen launched a mission. Codename Neighbor Lift. She, Tom, Jasmine, and I packed binders of bylaws annotated with sarcasm, copies of the Whisper Circle guidebook, a collapsible hammock for demonstrations. Max wore a vest labeled Emotional Comfort Dog in training. Amanda muttered, "You're bringing peace." Aggressively. Karen winked, with gentle authority. Chapter 83. Entering Cliptown. Cliptown was sterile. White fences, identical door knockers. Silence so sharp Max barked just to break it. Karen met the HOA president, Muriel Denning. Muriel wore a pearl necklace and the dead-eyed gaze of someone who once fined her nephew for unauthorized tulip planting. Karen bowed slightly. "We come with hammocks, not war." Muriel narrowed her eyes. "We ban those." Tom whispered, "This might get violent." Chapter 84. The first swing, Karen gathered Cliptown residents at the park. She set up a portable hammock, sat in it, swayed, invited people to try. At first, silence. Then, one brave soul sat, then another. A kid giggled. Muriel watched, horrified, like she was witnessing an unsanctioned festival. Karen stood. Joy isn't non-compliance. It's healing. Someone clapped. Then everyone did. Chapter 85. The Policy Audit. Karen reviewed Cliptown's HOA rules, pages upon pages of no seasonal decor before October 1st. Only beige mulch. Holiday lights must match HOA-approved wattage. Karen gasped. "This is a tyranny of taste." Amanda added, "and a hate crime against fairy lights." They proposed 14 amendments. Muriel fainted. Almost. Chapter 86. Hammock Rebellion. One night, a group of Cliptown teens installed mini hammocks between mailbox poles. By morning, there were 32. Muriel screamed. Karen smiled. "Let them swing." Muriel threatened fines. Tom threatened cupcakes. The board cracked. Muriel resigned. Citing decorative exhaustion, Karen became Cliptown's honorary neighborhood vibe consultant. Max was given a key to the park. Chapter 87. Karen the Mentor. Karen returned to Willow Creek changed. She no longer enforced. She inspired. She mentored local HOA hopefuls, young people who wanted structure and color, parents who wanted safety in hammocks. She held weekly sessions called Order Meets Imagination, a Balanced Lawn. Tom made stickers. I survived Karen's evolutionary arc. Chapter 88. Karen's house gets weird. Then something wild happened. Karen decorated her own yard. A gnome, 2 wind chimes, a bird bath shaped like a frog doing yoga. Amanda cried. "It's beautiful." Karen whispered, "Don't tell Linda." We didn't. Chapter 89. The Neighbor Awards. Diane organized the first Willow Creek Neighbor Awards. Categories included Most Improved Lawn Liberty, Hammock Spirit, Reformed Clipboard Warrior. Karen won all 3. She gave a short speech. "I once believed control meant caring. Now I know care lives in laughter, in chaos, and in a really well-tied hammock." Chapter 90. Nightfall and Nets. That night I lay in the hammock. Karen joined with tea. Max curled at our feet. We watched the moon, the flags, the soft glow of solar lights. "I used to think rest was for the weak," she said. "And now? It's revolutionary." We rocked gently. Karen sipped her tea and whispered, "Let it swing." Chapter 91. One Last Rule. Karen stood in front of the HOA board. "I'm proposing one final bylaw," she said. Diane groaned. "Karen, we agreed no more laws about lawn gnomes." "It's not about gnomes," Karen said, holding up a scroll like it was the Constitution. Tom whispered, "She's gone full drama monk." Karen unrolled it. Article 12. 12. The right to rest. Every resident has the protected right to install one hammock, swing, or gentle swaying structure on their property, regardless of HOA aesthetic codes, so long as it does not endanger squirrels. Silence. Then applause. Unanimous vote. Passed. Chapter 92. Hammock Day. To celebrate the new bylaw, Karen declared an official holiday. Hammock Day, June 12th. The block transformed. Driveway hammocks. Tree-to-tree hammocks. Max-sized hammocks. Even one suspended from a crane. Tom's idea. The HOA newsletter read, "Today we swing together." Amanda wore a shirt, "Let it swing or let me go." Karen smiled the whole time. Chapter 93. The Interview. Again. Karen was invited back to Suburban Voices. This time the tone was different. Host, you were once the villain of a viral hammock video. Now you're the face of suburban peace. Karen smiled. I didn't change overnight. I fell. I resisted. I planted a crystal and nearly banned a bird bath. Host laughed. But now? Karen nodded. Now I understand. A community doesn't need to match. It needs to breathe. Chapter 94. Max's moment. That week, Max was nominated for Neighborhood Pet of the Year. He didn't win, but Karen made a custom trophy anyway. To Max, emotional support hero, mulch survivor, squirrel diplomat. Max wagged once and peed on a decorative lantern. True to form. Chapter 95. A visitor from the past. One Sunday, Karen opened her door and gasped. Linda from Maple Loop. I brought peace tea, Linda said. Karen raised a brow. And no lawsuits? Linda smiled. I'm starting a community garden. I need your help. Karen blinked. I never thought I'd say this, but... She paused. Let's plant weird vegetables. Chapter 96. The Legacy Loop. Amanda compiled the full story into a book. The Hammock Chronicles, How a Neighborhood Stopped Controlling and Started Chilling. It included Karen's original warning letters, the viral fall frame by frame, the Gnome Saga, hammock schematics. It sold 37 copies, mostly to other HOA boards. One board banned it, then unbanned it, then ordered 12 more. Chapter 97. Karen's Hammock Retreat. Karen opened a new venture, The Still Zone, a hammock retreat for HOA survivors workshops, included dealing with lawn rage, healing through swinging, Porch from passive-aggressive to peacefully assertive. She wore flowing robes, gave sage advice, literally and metaphorically. Tom called it cult light, but in a good way. Chapter 98. The Reunion. 1 year after it all began, we held a block party. Theme, 1 year since the Great Fall and Rise. A banner read, From clipboard to hammock. We love you, Karen. Karen cried. Max sneezed. Amanda DJ'd. Tom grilled. Badly. The hammock glowed with fairy lights. Chapter 99. One final swing. That night, I sat in the original hammock. Karen joined. I still get emails, she said. People asking how to make peace with their own inner HOA. I laughed. What do you say? She smiled. I tell them to hang a hammock, tie it strong, and start with one nap. Chapter 100. The Last Word. The wind blew soft. Flags waved. Crickets hummed in the bushes. Karen stood, looked at the stars and said, This is peace, not silence, not rules, just space to swing. Then she whispered, Let it swing. And we did. Forever.